in the clutch. When the boxing talk, ain't nobody with us. Breaking down punches, every jab, every touch. If it's fight night, they already know what's up.
What it do? What it do? Still with the camp. Shine like a lamp. Big boss hog. Boss dog. Can't poke through the door. Here to talk to his box. Speak about soliloquy. Remember, two times don't last. Good people do don't know themselves. Call them in the fight may be a matter of peak game. Peak game. 84s on what? Swing. Y'all ain't heard these voices in a minute. Man, boxing been so dead, but some things came up, so we decided to discuss it. We clutched up with Chris Tank. Never talking about that boxing. Plug into the main, not to the main bitch. Got to introduce our second host. Salute to all our soldiers, future Hall of Famer, future pro coach, Brody and Hustle, aka Coach B. And y'all remember, if y'all want some coaching tips, hit us up in the email. Coach B will get with you. Let them know how you doing, Coach.
Hey, what it is, family. Just like Capo said, we clutched up, we clutched out. Y'all know we're here to talk about. And before we get into the show today, y'all know what I'm finna tell y'all. Hey, God wake y'all up. He put breath in y'all body. Get up, do you, take care of you. Everything else is extra. Don't let nobody take you away from that. And with all that being said as well, just know that Clutch Factory is more than just a podcast or a YouTube platform to where you can come on here and hear us talk about the latest fights or the latest happenings in the sport of boxing. If you have any questions that pertains to the sport of boxing or just pertains to life in general, me and Capo are two down to earth, genuine guys who are willing to guide you in the right path to be successful. Like you said, get in that email, get in that email box, that inbox, and let us know what we can do to grow the channel, what we can do to help you, or anything. If you got a life matter or you feel like you need some help, just hit us up. We here to guide the world in a better path. But with all that being said, I'm gonna pass it back to Capo. We're gonna continue the show. Now let's let them know how we flow.
Ready. We had a fight last night, man. Pay-per-view. Teofimo Lopez versus Romero. Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo Lopez. I said Lopez. Got the victory over Romero. Coach, what did you see in that particular fight? Did the judges get it right? Was it a robbery or was it a justifiable win? Let us know something.
I'll start directly with that first. Honestly, a lot of people are not gonna like my point of view on this, but it is what it is. I come from a background to where I pay attention to the entire fight. I don't just hone in and listen to the announcers and what they're saying. I don't hone in on the crowd and roll with the oohs and ahs of their favorite fighter. So when we look at this fight, I think the judges got it right. And I'm just getting to you straight raw. Pause, no freakies in full effect at this point. When you look at that fight, I seen a lot of things from Rolly Romero. It was almost beautiful to see what he put together throughout his fight camp. It was beautiful because you can see where Rolly Romero went and watched the blueprint on how to beat a Teofimo Lopez, in which that's not even Rolly's cup of tea. What I'm saying is, Rolly Romero went and watched something and implemented it into his fight plan, which was boxing. Teofimo Lopez at this point, let's call a spade a spade. He can be outboxed. You can win a match by outboxing Teo. Rolly Romero was in his boxing bag last night, and I can respect him for that because that's the blueprint on how to beat a Teofimo Lopez. You can tell Rolly went back and looked at some of the Jermaine Ortiz footage. He went back and looked at some of the Shakur footage and how they successfully, made it a tough fight and beat Teofimo Lopez. Now, with all that being said, the reason why I say the judges got this fight right, Rolly Romero only boxed well throughout the first 5 rounds of the fight. After that, you literally watch Rolly Romero, in which he does this in a lot of his fights. If you go back and watch film on Rolly Romero, he he didn't continue the fight plan. He didn't close the fight out. What I'm saying is Rolly Romero simply just went cold. There was no responding. He wasn't controlling the pace. He wasn't throwing any punches. He wasn't making it a difficult round, literally from round 6 through 12. Rolly Romero really didn't put in an effort to try to close out the fight. Yeah, he had Teofimo knotted up. Yeah, he had him bleeding. Yeah, he rocked him a couple times, but at the same time, that was all in one breath. You got to remember, a fight is 4 quarters, unless you're gonna knock a guy out. It's 4 quarters. You got your opening rounds, you got your middle rounds, you got your definitive rounds, and then you got your championship rounds. Rolly Romero in the definitive rounds and the championship rounds did not per se participate, and that's why he lost the fight. And he didn't lose the fight because Teofimo was landing significant shots. He lost the fight due to inactivity. Teofimo was doing something to make the judges sway his way. I'm not saying it's right, but at the same time, when you're looking at the sport of boxing and you got a champion and you got a guy who's a former champion coming to take a champion's belt, that's what you want to see. Continued activity through adversity. What did you do to make the champ have to come off his belt? And Teofimo did he took the simple route, but it was enough to get his hand raised. And I agree with the judges. It wasn't the best decision in the world, but at the same time, I agree with the judges on the fight, simply because Rolly Romero had little to no activity in the definitive rounds and the championship rounds. And but I still got to give him his props. I still got to give him his flowers. Rolly Romero did something that's not a part of his fight style at all. He boxed. It was beautiful in the beginning. I was like, oh, he really throwing jabs, backing up, moving around, taking angles, throwing sharp, crisp punches. Some of them were single shots, but they were meaningful and they landed. And when he did throw his combinations, he landed some significant punches in the early rounds. But like I say, after that, after round 5, it was nothing from Rolly Romero. It's like he forgot he was in a match with Teofimo. Now for Teofimo, it's almost saddening to say that, to me, Rolly Romero and Teofimo Lopez both have better resumes than some of these elite boxers that we consider elite these days. I'm just call a spade a spade. Their resumes are what you would look for when you going to say, hey, what guys can we put in the Hall of Fame at the end of their career? Right now, Rolly Romero and Teofimo Lopez, there should be nothing to say about either one of their resumes and walking into the Hall of Fame, period. Whether they win or lose, it is what it is. Their resumes are solidified. They've done what they needed to do throughout thus far in their career to get their name put in the Hall of Fame. Again, for Teofimo Lopez, it concerns me because the simple fact of I've watched Teofimo in his last 3 fights and nothing has changed. His combinations are poor. His footwork is poor. His timing is poor. His response is poor. And his overall corner as well is poor. I have nothing against you keeping your father in your corner. That's a respect thing. That's giving credit where credit is due. This is my pops. My pops got me this far. But you're on a level to where we seen you beat a Lomachenko. That's not an easy task for any fighter in the world, especially at the time that you did it. At the time that you beat Lomachenko, you were still on the rise, and you did it early. I don't want to sit here and say he peaked early, but at the same time, I think it's time for a change. And that change has to happen with his corner. I'm not saying put your father completely out of the corner, but maybe you need to send him back a little bit and bring in another guy that can help you continue to excel and maybe put some more tools in your tool bag. Because that simple combination of the 1-2 and then finish off with the 2 hooks to the arm or the lower body of the fighter is just not gonna cut it. You did that the whole fight against Shakur. You did that the whole fight against Rolly. I can't see that from you no more, especially knowing you have so much more to offer. You're not going to get by and beat anybody else. Yes, you're at 147 right now. You could be top 3 at 147, and there's nobody really to threaten you immediately. But once guys start moving into that division, Teofimo, you're going to slowly start becoming, the less of the crop. Guys are going to start picking on you because we see now, hey, that athleticism starting to slow down. It's starting to fail you. Now you got to get more into boxing. You can't just be out there and be elusive with your feet. You can't be the fastest guy. You can't be the quickest guy no more. So now that that's starting to evade you a little bit, it's starting to catch up with you, and these fighters are starting to notice it. I think it's just something simple: change up the corner. And at this point, I'll start vouching for myself. I know I can get in there with Teofimo Lopez and switch that up, and guys will be back like, oh, I don't know if I want to fight that guy. But at the same time, he needs to switch that corner up again. That was a good fight by those two, okay fight between those two, and duly noted. Hey, these are two, brothers from another mother. They got in there, they fought each other, blooded each other up. Well, Rolly bloodied Teofimo up, and at the end of the fight, they shook hands, said what they had to say, and I guarantee you, in the next week or so, they're gonna be back cool. It's a rematch, necessary. If it's on the table, I think they should rematch. I think it definitely should be a rematch. But other than that, decent fight, way to show the world how to switch things up. It don't matter if it's your brother from another mother or whatever, your best friend from high school. If we cross paths, we gotta get this done. We can be cool after this fight. But at the same time, I appreciate what they did, and it was a good fight. I think the judges got it right, and I'm gonna leave that like that.
Um, was it a robbery? Look, I see both sides. In my opinion, I feel like, Teofimo just knew what he had to do in certain moments in the round. He was more active. He landed more body shots. Um, although Rolly hurt him multiple times, um, Teofimo was more active, right? And there was some rounds that Rolly was not throwing, and he was too patient, and that could have costed him, right? That could have cost him the fight. So I think Rolly should have been a little bit more active, um, invested to the body more. Teofimo, I like his patience, but I just feel like when you be patient, there's a certain way you can still sway the judges, right? By having good ring generalship. And I just think there was like I think it was later in the rounds where Rolly was moving around the ring. And I'm not talking about like little subtle movement. I'm talking about he was actively just moving, like, you know. And Teofimo was kind of on the hunt, throwing punches at him. So I just think that in a sense, Rolly kind of he kind of blew this fight, in my opinion. Um, I do think Teofimo was a little bit more crispy, a little bit more economical in his punches. I just think Rolly just kind of was patient, but swung for the fences, right? I think it was, I forgot what round it was, but Rolly landed an overhand right, and it stunned Teofimo. Teofimo, started getting on his bicycle, getting on the ropes, and then Rolly was trying to land, but Teofimo immediately got back on defense. Had his hands out, was catching and rolling, you know, things like that. There was another round where Rolly caught him again, I believe, with a hook, and then threw some more stuff, and Teofimo began to hold at the waist a little bit, but Rolly had moved in and kind of muffed his work a little bit, and Teofimo went down to a knee. I'm bringing it up to say that Rolly, in a sense, like Coach is saying, when you get to the technical and deep philosophical aspect of boxing, he kind of muffed his work, and he was kind of swinging for the fences, whereas Teofimo was putting combination punches together, and just look in control. You know what I mean? So those are close fights. I feel like the judges got it right. But I can see how people can say, "Oh, Rolly." Now, when it comes down to Rolly saying, "Hey, look at my face and look at his face," sometimes stuff like that don't tell the story of a fight. If I've been in some wars in the past and I got scar tissue right on my face, yeah, if I get hit flush a couple of times, I'm gonna crack open and bleed, right? That's the nature of this boxing game. So Teofimo has been in some wars. He's been in some fights. He has scar tissue, right? He took some punishment in the Lomachenko fight. He definitely took some punishment in the George Kambosos fight. He's taken some punishment in the Sandor Martin fight, the Jermaine Ortiz fight. You know, his last fight with Shakur. You know, he has scar tissue, right? He's not the only fighter that has that scar tissue, right? So I don't think that tells the story of the fight. But at the same time, um, like I said before, I think the judges got it right. Um, in my opinion, where they try to go from here, I would like to see a rematch, but I don't think this should be a main event. I was kind of disappointed uh, in the fight card and just the event itself. I thought it was a good fight, but I think it's like a co-main. I would like to see this fight like maybe on a David Benavidez undercard or Devontae Tank Davis undercard. Um, I think that it's a co-main. I would not main event this fight, right? This is this is not a main event. That's all I can say. Um, as far as I had an issue with the announcers, it seemed like the zone announcers. I know Sergio Mora has boxed for many years. He sounds like a character to me. Sometimes stuff he be saying. That's why I like when I watch boxing. I put it on mute. I just put it on mute because I don't want to hear the foolishness. And I know he got a job to do, but it's just like, man, the stuff he be saying, I just be like, man, come on. So, um, I see that Lynn Paul called out Teofimo for in unification. That's a good fight. Uh, we'll see what happens, but I definitely think the honorable thing for Teofimo to do is to run it back with his ex. That sounds crazy. His former friend. All right, so that's what it is.
Thanks for watching KLXTH Factory. Like the video if you felt the punch. Drop your hottest take in the comments. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a round.